hunting,
fishing,
cooking,
camping,
conservation,
travel,
gardening,
photography, family.
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 This is the Outdoor Rules Podcast. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Outdoor Rules Podcast. Mike here. Pretty excited to bring you this week's episode. We're going to do something that we've kind of been waiting for. And, you know, we might have actually picked up a few more listeners with last week's episode with Bob Jackwart from Stormy Kromer. That was a really good one, I thought, and I, again, really appreciate Bob being on. But we're gonna go back to the same way we did episode 1 of this whole thing. It's just the brothers today. So introduce yourselves, guys.
Hi, it's Mark here.
Hello, it's Matt.
Good job, Matt.
Excited to be here as always.
You know, it occurred to me after we recorded the Stormy Kromer episode that I didn't really do any introduction in that one at all. So just on the off chance that our dozens of listeners have expanded by tens, real brief introduction. We are 3 brothers, and our last name is Ruhl, spelled R-U-H-L. And this episode's going to be a little bit special, I think, for a couple of reasons. One is because if you go back and listen throughout the year, we've done an episode that focused on Mark. Mark did an episode where he kind of interviewed me, but we have never had an episode that focused on our oldest brother, Matt. So we're gonna talk a little bit about Matt today. Are you excited for this, Matt?
Well, yeah, I love talking about myself.
Yeah. You love the sound of your own voice on the podcast, right?
No.
Oh, come on. So I don't know where to begin, Matt. You are the only one of us that was born in the 70s, right?
Yeah, I was born in 1978.
March of 78. If you go back and way back to the beginning of the podcast and listen, Matt was born just about exactly 1 year, right, before the partial meltdown at 3 Mile Island.
Yeah, I think that happened on my first birthday, or the day before my first birthday, maybe.
Right. So it may explain some things to our listeners throughout this episode to understand that we grew up 15 miles as the crow flies downwind of 3 Mile Island, and Matt was about exactly a year old when the partial meltdown occurred.
He may have been mildly radiated.
I think the degree to which he was irradiated is debatable, but something clearly happened. So
that's probably why I got all the looks.
Something like that. You know, maybe if that hadn't happened, you would have grown to a normal stature and you could have actually leveraged all of your athletic ability.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem.
So I don't know, Mark. What are you thinking here? How should we do this? Do we want to start with why Matt's the most annoying one of us, or the dumbest things Matt's ever done?
I don't know. I was going with what's it like growing up in the shadow of your 2 excellent younger brothers?
Yeah. I mean, literally, if we're in front of him and the sun's shining on us, he would be in our shadow.
In our literal shadow?
No, I don't know. So the order here is, Matt, you were born in 78, and I was born in 80, and Mark, you were born in 86, and then our sister's in between you and I, right, Mark?
Correct.
And Matt, we kind of talked about this in an episode too, but what's your real name?
Grant.
You're Grant Matthew Ruhl, which is, you're the 4th Grant in the family, right?
I'm G4.
G4. There you go. And I think it's fair to say that, I think it's fair to say a couple of things about you. One, that you got the most athletic talent of all of us. Mark, do you argue with that?
Absolutely.
And Matt, you played more sports than we did, right?
I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
I ran cross country and track. I played basketball. I wrestled 1 year.
Really?
Yeah, I hated it.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Was it the weight cutting?
No. I was skinny back then.
No.
Right to the fat guy jokes, Mark.
It wasn't
Ouch.
a fat. No, I'm just saying I never could have wrestled because of the weight cutting.
Oh, no. I played baseball, soccer. That might be it. I never played football.
A lot of street hockey.
Well, yeah. I mean, we played a lot of pickup football and a lot of street hockey.
And then I think the other thing that's fair to say about you is that you're the best fisherman among us, which is painful to admit.
Yeah, and annoying.
I mean, best fisherman, I don't know. I mean, most lucky, maybe.
No.
I mean, we all have our abilities with fishing, for sure.
I mean, there's some luck that plays into it, but, I mean, there's definitely some skill. There's definitely it's like, kind of like I always said, like they always talk about Dale-Earnhardt could see the draft type of thing, like where other drivers couldn't see it. I always felt that with you. Like you can see the exact flow of where the fish are going to be in a trout stream type of thing.
Well, I mean, yes, that's reading the water. And I would say that I think growing up fishing the Susquehanna River at Falmouth and trout fishing as much as we did, you learn that. That's a learned skill.
I mean, but I grew up doing the exact same things, and I don't know. To me, it's.
I actually have always thought that I'd probably enjoy just teaching that.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's such a micro, like it's not even. I'm not talking like within a foot, like you.
Oh yeah,
within the area of a foot, you know exactly where you want to put your bait. Whereas something, yes. I don't know. I don't.
When I'm casting, I'm aiming for something as small as a hockey puck.
Yeah. So Matt's the Dale-Earnhardt of fishing in our family. Is that?
I was not necessarily making that comparison. That statement.
Well, that didn't end well for him. But
does that mean I'm going to drown?
We may drown him one of these days. Yeah, so
exactly. So I don't know, Matt. I mean, you probably can't really. Well, we're only 30 months apart, 2.5 years in age apart, or something, right? Not even that.
2 years, 2 months, and 2 days.
Oh yeah, I always forget that. So you don't really remember a time where you didn't have a brother?
No.
I mean, we both remember the happy times before we had two brothers.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm totally kidding.
I mean, Mark came out looking like an alien, so hey.
Yeah, that is true.
I can't help it. The umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck.
And that's where your story begins.
Exactly.
That's where my trouble started. 40 years old, and they haven't stopped.
Man. What stands out to you about early childhood stuff, particularly with the outdoors and family?
Well, I think what stands out for me the most is just the amount of time we fished as kids. I mean, I don't remember a time. I mean, fishing was always part of everything we did.
Yeah.
Every vacation was fishing, including even when we went to Disney, we stayed in the campground, and the best part of that trip for me was fishing.
Right.
The park part of that trip, I could have done without.
Yeah.
And whether Pop Grant, which would be our grandfather, Dad, between the two of them, somebody would have always willing to take us fishing. So, I mean, in the summertime, I would suspect we probably fished 5 days a week from the time school ended to the time school started. And that might even be, it might have been more than that, most of it.
Yeah. And, I would say, I don't remember a time where somebody was really actively helping me fish. Do you?
No, not really. I assume all that happened when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, and by the time that I was 5, 6, 7, we didn't need help.
I mean, I'm sure we got a lot of help. I'm sure people still untangled for us in those situations.
But I don't even, I don't particularly remember. I must have been awfully young when I started tying my own knots, essentially.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember a time when I had to have somebody else bait my hook, tie my knots, take my fish off. We were sort of expected to do that.
Right.
Very young.
That's kind of what I meant. It was, by the time I can really remember, it was you're kind of on your own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I appreciate. and I think I still carry that today. I really struggle to fish with a guide. You know, even when I don't know what I'm doing, I still would rather learn it on my own.
Yeah, especially if it's guiding in the way of like somebody's tying lures on for you and wanting to bait your hook and take your fish off.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably why I really don't care for, trolling for tuna. It's because I want to do that work. I want to set the lines, and you can't do that.
Right. No, they certainly don't let you do that. So you mentioned Pop Grant, and again, for anybody that's been listening, no surprise, our dad's dad was Pop Grant, who you are his namesake after Dad. And both of our grandpas really figured large in our outdoor experiences, but in really different ways. And Pop Grant particularly with fishing, and hunting, but with the active outdoor stuff, and he was a big fisherman. You had the longest with him. Do you feel like you had a different relationship with him than the rest of us did?
Between you and me, no. Probably I would think it was about the same. Unfortunately for Mark, he didn't get to spend the amount of time with you. Were, 10? So, I don't think so. He liked to teach you things the hard way. He learned a lot of lessons by making mistakes.
Yeah. Do you have any of those that you really specifically remember, a lesson learned the hard way with him?
Not that happened to me that I remember. There's a lot of lessons that I remember that I was there for when they happened.
Like when I cut my stomach.
Yeah. When I cut my finger when we talked about this in one of the episodes at Indian River that time, I'm not sure that was a lesson. I think what he told me was that's why you don't stick a folding knife into a picnic table. Essentially, that's about all I got out of that.
Yeah, the knife. You took his folding knife and tried to stick it blade first into a picnic table.
Yeah, and it snapped shut on my finger. Just about cut the tip of my pinky off.
Well, I would say that was a lesson that you learned the hard way.
Yeah.
And you got about the normal amount of sympathy out of him from it. Well, he was full of lessons like that. What's kind of your last memory or a late memory with him that stands out?
One of the very last times we went to the river was the time that he fell and hit his head. And I don't know how late that was, but it's one of and I think probably the reason I remember it so vividly is because he fell and hit his head and was bleeding and refused to go back to the truck. And it had to be that summer before he passed away.
Yeah, he may have already been kind of off.
Yes. And he wanted to fish that day. And I think partially because he knew the end. I think he knew he was, possibly not going to be around much longer. He wouldn't quit. We went, what happened on the way out? We hadn't even started fishing yet. So that's one of the last times I really remember fishing the river or even fishing with him, possibly. That might be the last time. He'd go to the best hole in the river, he called it. He'd go there, and he'd just stand in that one spot all night, all afternoon, 3, 4, 5 hours, and we'd roam all around, and you'd come back, and he'd still be standing there, catching fish. So
yeah, I've often wondered if that was about catching fish for him or about watching us roam around.
Yeah, I think it was probably both. I think he was happy to see us just go.
Yeah. Part of the reason I ask about the different relationships is I always felt, or maybe in retrospect, I don't know, I felt a little bit like my relationship with Pop Bud was a little different than maybe yours and maybe anybody else's in the family.
Yeah, I would say you were definitely a little closer.
Yeah. I spent more time cooking with Pop Bud, I think, than you did, right?
Yeah, I never really took cooking up.
Yeah. And that was kind of the role that he played with us in the outdoors. He went everywhere with us, deer camp and vacations and all over the place, and he was the best camp cook anybody could ever ask for. Anything about that relationship for you kind of stand out like, because they were very different people, Pop Bud and Pop Grant, in so many ways, but really amazing grandpas in their own right.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't ask for two better grandfathers.
No.
What stands out, yeah, I mean, you could not tell Pop Bud that there was something that you wanted because he would just go buy it. Right. And I remember, did he buy us our first Nintendo?
Well, I don't know. You'd probably be old enough to remember, and I wouldn't.
I kind of think that I, or one of us, or he heard us talking about it, and he came home with the first Nintendo. You still have it?
Yeah, I still have it.
Yeah, he was, they were both generous people, but he had done better financially, and he was older than Pop Grant by quite a bit, right?
Yeah, he was definitely older.
I would think it had to be 7 or 8 years. Yeah. Might have been more than that.
Pop Grant died at 72 years old.
1996.
In 96, and Pop Bud died at 84 in 99.
10 or 11 years apart.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, yeah, I mean, Pop Bud, he used to say, I have money I haven't spent yet. It's kind of his approach to that. You graduated high school when, Matt?
1996.
And one of the things I think that I'm kind of proud of or look on fondly was the relationship that you and I kind of developed in high school. I mean, we were typical brothers, right? We fought a lot.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, I feel like we fought physically like all the time when we were kids.
Yes.
Yeah. And I see it in my boys now because they're very similar difference in age.
Well, and you have Emmett.
Yeah. Yeah. He's such a little brother. He's such a little instigator of stuff. And he's also so 100% fearless about everything. I mean, we didn't really fight with Mark. Neither one of us really, not that we never fought with Mark, but we didn't fight with Mark the way we fought with each other because there's 6 years.
It wouldn't have been much of a fight.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been much of a fight. Me. I like to think that it wasn't much of a fight between Matt and I until sometime when we were early in high school. And then it started to hurt more, and then we started fighting less. Is that accurate?
That's probably accurate.
Yeah.
Pop Grant would really give you advice when we were fighting.
Yeah. Like poke him in the eye.
Yeah. Poke his eyes out, he used to always say. That and fight nice. He used to say that a lot.
Yeah, I tell my boys that all the time. Fight nice, boys. That was a Pop Grant line for sure. But, I think that you and I became a lot closer in high school, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe not closer. We were always close, but we reached maybe more of an understanding about less conflict and more time together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ages were you when you threw the donut box?
I don't know.
Well, that was in high school.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
I don't know what we were fighting over.
No, I have no idea what we were fighting over.
One of my favorite stories of all time.
Black shirt and white powdered donuts?
I think it was black Wranglers. I think I was wearing black Wranglers.
Yeah. You must have been getting ready to go to like an FFA event or something.
Probably. And Matt chucked a box of powdered donuts at me and it exploded like a hand grenade.
I was just trying to save you from a fashion faux pas.
I think we all made plenty of those in high school. But no, I mean, I think about once we got into high school and started really, gaining our independence in terms of the ability to get around and do things.
Yeah, I think that hunting without Dad or Pop Grant really brought us a lot closer together.
Yeah,
and a lot of that was waterfowl.
Right. Yeah, which not that Dad and Pop Grant had never hunted waterfowl at all, but that was not something that was going on when we were kids for them.
Right.
And I think the other thing that was happening then was, the Canada goose, the resident Canada goose population was really starting to explode in our area.
Yeah, and it gave us a fairly liberal season and bag limit.
Right. And so along with Dan Kreider and Paul Metley and some other friends, we really got into that. I mean, I don't know, anything stand out about all of that for you?
No, I think my favorite part of that was the arguments over how to set the decoys up.
You could not have a morning where there wasn't an argument about how to set up the decoys.
Be fair, most of your outdoor pursuits that I've been with you guys on, you can't do without some sort of argument.
Yeah, even still.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's in our nature.
It really is.
No,
it's not.
I think we're at, what, 52-ish podcasts or whatever, and there's probably been one argument at least in every podcast.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a recording of it or not, but somewhere along the way there's a recording of Robert saying, "Why don't you just call it the arguing with each other podcast?"
I like that.
Yeah. Well, it is a kind of a Ruhl thing, to be perfectly honest. We're a little bit argumentative as people.
No, the problem is I'm always right and you're not.
Yeah. And I don't know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As your favorite saying goes, I'd agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong.
That's right. That is one of my very favorite sayings.
You mentioned something there, Mark, that I meant to mention at the beginning of this, which is that the other reason this is special, not just because we're recording an episode all about Matt, is that it is the 52nd episode of the Outdoor Ruhls podcast, right?
Crazy.
I know.
How do we make it to 52?
Yeah. And we're not exactly celebrating today as our first anniversary, although it was a goal to do an episode every week for a year, which we're going to make. But I think there have been 2 weeks or something where we put out 2 episodes each week. I think they might have both been about Caitlin's elk hunting. One for each of her elk hunts might have both been 2 parts that we released the same week. So we're at 52, but our birthday, our first podcast was October 26th, and this one will come out early in October.
Well, Caitlin's always been an overachiever.
Yeah, she kind of is. And she's nice to talk to, so.
She's nicer to talk to than you, that's for sure.
She's nicer in every way than me.
Agreed. No arguments.
I know, which is why people like her better than they like me.
Well, at least you know it.
It's would be hard to ignore, even for somebody as thick as I am. So you kind of, in high school, you did a lot of waterfowl hunting, right?
Yes.
But
we did quite a bit of waterfowl.
But you kind of took a break from deer hunting. Do you think that's fair?
Well, I think that deer hunting for us was really only a couple of days a year in rifle season. Dad didn't really deer hunt more than the first couple days of rifle season and maybe the Saturdays. So I think that I enjoyed deer hunting, but it wasn't something that we spent a lot of time actually doing.
Yeah. Well, I guess for me, I remember, there were a couple of first days of rifle season that you didn't hunt, weren't there?
I guess there could have been, but I definitely wasn't into deer hunting like I am now.
Right. Just something that for a period there you were not as into as other types of hunting.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
We small game hunted a lot.
Yeah, we waterfowl hunted.
Right.
But deer hunting was sort of second, third, so to speak.
Right. And then that was, go ahead.
I think I know what changed for me. And that's that I bought a bow. I finally started archery hunting.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I was 19 or 20 when I bought my first bow. Something like that.
Yeah.
And, I think before that, our deer hunting was always, pretty much almost always in Potter County, cold, snow, I didn't, it wasn't that I didn't go out, but I also didn't always love that weather.
Right.
And I bought a bow and took up archery hunting and realized that, man, was missing out on hunting really nice weather, seeing more deer.
Yeah, seeing more natural deer movement.
Right. Being there for essentially hunting the rut. And, I think I just fell in love with that.
Yeah. I look back on my early years of Pennsylvania rifle deer hunting, and I feel like I don't know that I could ever legitimately say I saw natural deer movement.
No, they were always pushed either by somebody else walking around while you were on stand, whether it be a family member or just, some other random hunter, or they were in a deer drive. You never really got to see them just sort of do their thing.
Yeah. And I would say rifle hunting in Pennsylvania, probably the first buck, for sure, the first buck that I would ever say definitively we saw this buck moving naturally was the one we told the story, Mark, in your episode that you missed.
Yeah.
That one coming out of the clear cut. That buck was, he was
not pushed. He was just doing what he did.
Yeah, I think he was looking for a doe. I think a hot doe had gone through there and he was trailing her. I mean, you're saying you got back into deer hunting, or you really got into deer hunting through archery, right?
Yeah, I think that's where where my passion for deer hunting now comes from. Archery.
Do you remember your first buck with a bow?
It might have been the first year of the point restrictions.
Oh yeah.
Which I'd have to look exactly. I can't tell you what year it was.
I think
exactly.
that probably would have been 2000 if my recollection serves. I think that was the year 2000.
Yeah. And I had honestly no idea what I was really doing. Hadn't really grasped the concept of wind, bedding areas, how to work all that together, what to avoid not to do mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a climber, climbed a tree where I really shouldn't have been. Look, now I would never go to that spot to hunt. Climbed a tree and had this real tight rack 6-pointer, just wise with brow tines on both sides, 3 on each side, which is what the points restriction was, 3 points. And he came down through. It was thick. I couldn't see very far in any direction. It was probably 15 to 18 yards. Not sure I even had honestly, I don't know if I even had a rangefinder then or not. And he stopped broadside and I shot. And I actually was shooting fairly steep down. And I thought I shot low. And he went about another 20 yards and stood there broadside. And I was trying to knock an arrow to try to shoot him again. And while I was doing that, he just fell over. I heart shot him.
Yeah.
Didn't know it. You must have been in college.
Yeah, I would have been in college.
Because I called
Dad.
Yeah, and then
we both came over.
Yeah, and then Mark and Dad came over.
It was thick.
You probably didn't call Dad.
No,
I probably didn't have a cell phone. I probably went back and got him.
Yeah,
and then we went back and got the deer.
Right. So you were there, Mark, for the recovery?
I was there for the recovery.
Nice.
I have just the horns on a board in my garage at home.
Yeah.
They're actually on top of the gun safe. I don't really have them displayed.
That was probably the first buck that we got at the farm that you guys hunt now, right?
Yeah, I think it might even be the first deer.
Yeah, probably was.
That we got over there.
I didn't totally remember that story.
Well, that's because you were probably away.
Yeah. And then we can cut any of this out or not talk about any of it that you don't want to, Matt. But then, I mean, you had kids earlier than any of the rest of us, both in terms of where you were in life and obviously since you're the oldest, like substantially earlier.
I had my whoops at the beginning. That's how I like to put it. Some people have a whoops at the end. I had mine at the beginning.
Do you remember do you remember our last physical fight?
Yeah, we got in a fight in hockey.
I do.
You were the goalie. We might have been on the same team.
We may have been. I think it was driveway hockey, so I think it was only one.
It was
goalie.
Driveway hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a bit stressed at that time.
Huh?
Yeah.
And
he was taking some frustrations out on me, I believe.
Was he?
I believe so.
Like I was defending you?
And then you couldn't take it anymore. Because you knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And you kind of got sick of him.
My version of this story is whatever led up to it is that Matt charged me and he knocked me down. And then in the wrestling match, I ended up with the goalie equipment on, so like with leg pads on, I ended up kneeling on Matt's shoulders. like you got to stop or I'm going to punch you in the face. and whatever happened, we separated, and you and I, that was the summer that you and I were living in the little White House after Pop Bud passed away.
Right.
So we were living over there together. And you went over there, and then I don't know why I would have followed you over, but I did. And I remember following you over there, like you stormed in the house, I ran in behind you, whatever. I was like, what the F is your problem? And you turned around and looked at me and said, Aaron's pregnant. Like, oh. Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay. Got it. I'm going to leave now.
Well, I needed to get it out of my system.
Sounded like you needed some space.
I did.
He did. Yeah. Anyway, tell us about the kids.
Well, Grant's the oldest, named after the Grants.
Yep.
I actually named him after. So our great-grandfather was Grant Killian, and my son is Grant Killian. He was born in 2000, right? A couple days after Christmas. He actually works for me now full-time. Hunter is 21. He's going to college. He's a senior. He's also working in Wyoming right now and taking classes online.
Hopefully.
I think.
Sorry, Hunter.
He gets real mad at me because he says we don't give him enough credit.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I heard all about it on the elk hunt.
And Addison, my oldest daughter, is 18. She is a freshman in college. And then Kaylee is the youngest. She's 16. She's a junior in high school. So I had 4 kids over a span of like 9 years.
Right. So you have more kids. I mean, I have 2. Mark, you have 1. Our sister Kate has 1. You had all of your kids long before any of ours were born. How old is Kaylee? 16?
16.
And CJ's 9.
Right.
So 7 years.
So you were done for 7 years before any of us even got going.
Yeah, which, when you're young and all of a sudden there's a lot of responsibility, it seems like I don't know, sometimes I would say it was like, man, what am I doing? And now that I'm older and now that I see you guys having kids at 40, whatever,
right?
I'm like, what the F is wrong with you people?
Well, I am going to be, so Kaylee is 16 and you're how old, Matt?
47.
Right. So you'll be 49 when Kaylee's 18.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll be 59 when Emmett's 18. Yeah. Right.
You poor bastard.
Yeah, I wonder, like, I think for me, and this is one of the ways that our lives and our perspectives maybe are a little bit different. Like, I really feel like for me, with my kids, I am like really zen about hunting and fishing in general. Like I love to hunt and fish. I really love the 6 days we just spent on Caitlin's elk hunt. But like in 2007. When you were in the midst of lots of little kids, I spent like, 21 days rifle hunting elk in Montana.
Mm-hmm.
I was just 100% gung-ho hunt all the time. And I feel like I'm glad I did that, and I'm glad I had that time. But now I feel like I'm like, well, whatever. If we get an elk tag this year, we get an elk tag. If I get to go do this or that, we still do a lot of stuff outdoors, but I just don't feel the same kind of like drive or need, to go that hard at it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, and do you feel like your perspective is any different than that?
I think I have more. I definitely have more time now to hunt than I did then, although I still hunted a fair amount. If I'm being honest, Erin was really good about me going. She realized that was important to me, so
yeah,
I hunted and fished a fair amount, even with the kids being little.
Right.
There were very few times where I asked to go on a trip and that she wasn't okay with it. So I can't complain about that.
About that.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I'm not.
mean,
We don't, we'll just say that you're no longer married.
That's right. We're divorced. Things happened. It is what it is.
And,
whatever.
But man, they are special kids. Grant was just here visiting me. Well, actually, Hunter was here, and then a week later, or like 2 days after later, Hunter left, Grant came and visited.
Yeah.
And, they're really different. Grant fishes. They both fish. Hunter, the pretty big hunter. Grant doesn't really hunt at all anymore.
He shot one buck and one doe. And 1 year in rifle season, I took him upstate for the entire first week. And I honestly think I hunted him too hard. Yeah. And I just, I overdid it. And after that, he had very little interest anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's not, I don't know, like, it's not for everybody. And I feel that way, like, even with my boys, they have different personalities. They have different patience levels, and they're going to change as they get older too. And some of them do it. Addison, right? She shot one buck. I was there for that.
Yeah, she shot one buck, and I can tell you she's never hunting again.
Yeah. Well,
and that's okay.
But she tried it.
Yeah, she tried it.
Right. And Kaylee, on the other hand, she's all in, right?
Yeah, she's all in. She's super excited for archery season this year. Really kind of bummed that our opening day is this coming weekend, and she at least won't get out this weekend.
Yeah.
Archery.
And you and I hunted Western big game together some, although you got, did you get one or two mule deer?
2 mule deer and 1 whitetail in Montana.
You probably got, you got one of the nicest mule deer bucks that we ever got.
Yeah. I shot a fairly nice buck. He's a 5x5 without counting brow tines, and both of those are split on both sides.
Yeah.
So they don't really count brows out there.
No, right. But it's a really, it's a nice buck. And
yeah, especially for us on our own. It wasn't just you and me and Poppy.
Right. And that one year, the whitetail year, Mark was there. You guys hunted together a bunch in Montana that year, right?
Yeah.
You definitely have one big game animal that I'm jealous of. Tell that story.
I shot a rather large black bear in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, rather large. How big was it?
I think it field dressed at 570 pounds, and the estimated live weight was 662 pounds.
Man, that's a big bear.
You're the
only Mark. You've never killed a bear, right?
I've never killed a bear.
Yeah, and that's a heck of a bear, and that's the only one you've gotten, Matt. But you've now had other opportunities, right?
Yes, but I haven't. I passed a couple bears since then, which I maybe now regret a little bit. I had an opportunity to kill one with the inline muzzleloader, and I sort of wish now I would have taken that shot. I just left him go by.
Yeah.
It was, a bear that I would have guessed was between 150 and 200 pounds.
Right.
Like an average size bear for Pennsylvania. I think the average bear shot in Pennsylvania is typically like 180 pounds or something like that. I always said I'd shoot one with a bow. I've seen them, but not had them close enough to shoot with a bow. But yeah, I'm actually hoping to go upstate this year to bear hunt again. I actually haven't done it the last couple seasons.
Yeah, there was a couple years there where we had access to a property that, for whatever reason, was holding bears. And you guys, in 2 years, right? You, Poppy, and Hunter all got a bear.
Yes. Yeah, I think that would make a good episode just to try to get those two guys on to talk about
Pennsylvania deer hunting.
Yeah.
All right.
Especially with the season coming up.
You've kind of come to a place with deer hunting where most years you have a bunch of opportunities, and some years you get a deer and some years you don't, right?
That's correct.
I just mean you've gotten to the point in your hunting career where you're passing deer and trying to shoot a nice one.
Yeah, I always say you can't shoot a nice buck if you shoot the first buck that walks past you.
Yeah.
What if it's a nice one?
Then I shoot it. I mean, I've gone on streaks. 5 years in a row I killed a buck, starting in the mid-teen, in the mid, like 2015 to 2020 or something like that. Then I went at least 2, if not 3 seasons where I didn't shoot a buck, where I didn't shoot any deer.
Yeah.
I did kill a buck last fall that I really regretted after I shot it. And some of that has to do with time in tree stands with kids, which I wouldn't change for the world. Addison shot her one and only buck deer, which was a buck with a crossbow. And now Kaylee's killed a buck 3 years in a row with a variety of different weapons. And so I'd rather spend time in a tree with them anyway. So I don't really care if I have my tag at the end of the season or not. I just enjoy the time out in the tree stand.
What's the biggest whitetail you've ever gotten?
Probably the one in Kansas.
Yeah. So we went to Kansas. When was that? Probably 2010.
I don't know. I think it was that long ago.
Well, Caitlin was with us. I mean, it would have had to be 2010 to 2013, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah. And were you rifle hunting then or muzzleloader hunting?
Inline muzzleloader.
Yeah. How big is that deer?
It's a 9-pointer, really heavy, narrow, and he scored in the mid 140s.
Yeah. It's a really nice deer.
Yeah, it was a definitely mature deer. That whole trip was, I don't know that I've ever been anywhere that had more bucks than that.
Yeah.
Trip. There were deer everywhere you went.
There were deer everywhere there.
I saw bigger deer than the one I shot after I shot mine.
Yeah.
But, there wasn't any of us passing that buck up.
Hard to pass 140-inch deer when you grew up in Pennsylvania with.
So we had permission to hunt one certain landowner's property, but he owned quite a bit of property. And do you remember how windy it was that morning? It was like 30, 40 mile an hour sustained winds.
Remember the trip was windy, period.
Well, that day was the windiest. It was awful. And I think it was the second morning of the trip, not the first. In the first morning, I had found this, maybe it was the first evening, I had found this spot I really liked, and I saw a lot of deer. And I'm not actually sure I didn't see that buck the night before, but couldn't get a shot at him. I don't know. But anyway, it was really windy, and I found there was one giant tree in a fence row. And I'm talking like that thing had to be, 10 feet across or something. And I thought, well, I'm going to sit behind this tree to get out of the wind. So I was sitting there on the ground, and it's just starting to get light. And all of a sudden I realized that I'm essentially surrounded by deer. I think that they were all coming to that spot because there was like a little bit of a lump in the field, a hill, and I think that they were coming there to get out of the wind. They wanted to bed down right where I was sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I had this fairly nice 10-pointer standing at 10 to 15 yards, just staring me down, trying to figure out what I was. And I had gotten the gun, and I was looking at him through the scope, even that close, and I was like, man, he's nice, but he's young. I could tell he was young, like he's just spindly horned. And I gotta let him, I gotta pass, like I'm not gonna shoot him. So I'm watching him. I actually put the gun back down, and I'm just sitting there watching him. And it was a weird morning, because I think it was windy, but it was also foggy, which is unusual. And all of a sudden, he starts looking behind him. So then, I look back, and the buck that I killed is standing there. I think that deer was probably standing there the whole time. So now they have me pegged. I can't move anymore. And the big buck gets in the small buck finally moves off. he just starts walking, goes past me, and I'm thinking this is gonna. I think I got up when he left. I got ready to shoot, and I thought when the big buck steps in that hole where that smaller buck was, I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna shoot him. As soon as that big deer hit my wind, he knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
And he whirled around like that and just took off back the way he came. So I stood up quick, and just by dumb luck, the tree had this one big branch on, and I mean giant. And it was at the perfect height for me to rest the gun on. So I threw the gun up on that limb. He ran out to like 60 or 70 yards and stopped and turned broadside. And I shot, and you know how muzzleloader, even with a flintlock or even with an inline, big puff of smoke, and there's no deer anymore. And I didn't know whether I hit him or not. So I reload, and I was sure I missed, to be honest. And I think you came over from the other side, because you were on the other side of some patch of woods from us. And I don't even know if I walked out there to look for him before you got there or not. But anyway, long story short, he hadn't gone a step, essentially. I knocked him right down. And I think that's the first buck we killed on that trip.
Yeah, it was, for sure.
So 4 of us went. The dad didn't get a deer.
Right.
But he missed one from the same spot the next morning that I shot from.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, that was a good trip. I mean, there were a lot of deer in western Kansas, turns out.
Yeah, it was insane.
Right. What's left for you from a hunting standpoint? Like, what's the thing that you want to do?
Well, I really should kill an elk one of these years.
No, that's going to be hard if you never apply for it.
Kind of quit applying. I'd really like to shoot a moose.
Yeah.
I know that's gotten insanely expensive, but it's something that I really want to do.
Well, I mean, I think it depends a lot on where you go. I mean, if you want to go to Newfoundland.
Yeah, it's not quite as bad.
No, well, I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as going to try to get an Alaska Yukon. That has gotten insanely expensive. Yeah, I don't know. You and Caitlin, you both want moose. We got to try to figure out how to make that happen.
Yeah.
Caitlin, get you a moose and get Caitlin a 50-inch muskie.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know. There's not a whole lot. I mean, there's a lot of things that I just don't interest me. Like, at one time I thought I'd like to hunt sheep, and I don't need to climb those hills. I mean, if they can drop me off in a helicopter, maybe, but
there would be a lot of hill climbing and sheep hunting.
Yeah, I'm just, as come to the realization that's probably not for me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. You never know.
But, I don't know.
There's some places to hunt sheep here here in New Mexico and other places that aren't that hard to climb around, but it's really, really hard to get tags.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some fish I'd like to catch.
Yeah, what's the big fishing thing that you've never done that you want to do?
Well, there's several, but one of them is, I don't know why it bothers me so much, but I really want to go catch. I'd like to go down and fish for snook and tarpon.
Yeah.
Which really isn't all that impossible to do. I just never make the plans.
No, I don't think that's very hard to do at all. I think those are two very accessible species. I don't think it'll be too hard for you to drive to Florida and fish for them.
I'd also like to go somewhere where I could catch like a really big bass. Like, I don't need to do it every year, but I'd like to go do it once.
Yeah. Where would, if you were going to do that, where do you think you'd go?
El Salto.
You'd go to Mexico?
Probably.
Yeah. It's
I think
drive.
those fish don't get as much pressure.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that those places like El Salto they're heavily managed for big fish. I mean, it's not, I'm pretty sure El Salto is private.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it is.
I mean, there's some other lakes down there that would interest me. I mean, if I was going on one big bass trip, that's probably one of the places I would at least look at.
Got to come to New Mexico. We could try to fish for a 10-pounder here.
Yeah.
That, Mark, I don't know what you think, but I don't think that was a very positive response.
Not sound positive.
Yeah, I think my biggest problem is with going anywhere, not New Mexico, is I don't really want to fly anymore. And so all these trips I talk about are never going to happen because I don't want to get in the plane.
I was going to say, don't want to fly and have gotten to the point where you pretty much refuse to fly, I think is more accurate.
Yeah.
It's my goal. I'm going to get you on a plane again. It's not that bad. It's worth it for what you get to do.
I guess.
Anyway.
If they let me fly the plane, I'd be fine with it. Just the rest of the people on the plane. I don't think anybody else
would.
Yeah, that's right. The rest of the people on the plane, not so much.
No. Well, I don't know. Got to start crossing stuff off like El Salto or tarpon fishing. You know, we're not getting any younger here.
I know.
Yeah. Not going to get easier to travel.
You really wanted to catch a triple tail at one point.
Yeah, I'd like to catch one of those.
Yeah, I would too.
There's a lot of saltwater fish I'd like to go fish for. There's, snapper and grouper. I'd like to do that trip. I'd like to catch a triple tail. I'd like to go halibut fishing again.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure I'm interested in Norway.
I don't know, man. It's pretty awesome there.
I'm more of a numbers guy.
Well, you could have caught a lot of fish there, numbers-wise, if you really wanted to. But, yeah. No, I don't. I'm interested in going back there for one big fish. But so we were talking about deer hunting. Archery season starts a couple days from now. What's your goal for this year? Do you have anything in mind?
I would say my first goal is to get Kaylee a buck.
Yeah.
After that, spend as much time in a tree stand as I can.
What do you think Kaylee's goal is for the year?
Her goal is always to shoot one bigger than the year before.
Yeah.
And she shot
really having trouble with that.
Yeah, she shot a fairly nice one last year. It's going to be a little tougher this year than what.
Definitely gets tougher and tougher.
Yeah, I would say that I think that's her goal until we actually have one in front of us, and then we'll see what she does.
Yeah.
I mean, she makes her own decisions there. I don't try to talk her in or out of anything.
We didn't really talk about what you do for work. I mean, that's it. I think it's another interesting thing about the three of us. And, we all really ended up doing very different things, right? I mean, Mark, what's your gig?
I'm a service manager in an equipment shop.
And the digital media manager for Outdoor Ruhls.
And the low-paying career of being the Outdoor Ruhls digital media manager. I'm not very good at it either. I haven't been fired. I don't understand what I have to do to get.
Well, he has to put a complaint into the HR department.
Yeah.
That's me.
Matt's the chief of HR. But Matt, and obviously it would, well, not obvious necessarily.
So I was in college. I did 3 semesters. And then I had a whoops at the beginning, which wasn't the whole reason why I quit college. Let's be clear on that. But I had to start working, and I had taken a summer job doing flooring. So when I started working, when I needed a job full time, I went there and got hired as a flooring installer. Well, as a helper, really. Started off as a helper, and then eventually a full installer. And then after I worked several different companies flooring until I had 10 years of experience, and I went out on my own. I'm self-employed I went self-employed in 2006. 19 years I've been self-employed.
Yeah. And, I can't tell you how much I respect that. I have never in my entire life been good enough at anything that would make money to be self-employed. I mean, like, seriously, the risk side of it too. Like, I really respect that in you that you've done that, and you did it sort of through all the ups and downs and all the kids and all the changes in your life, and really managed to make it work. I think that's a special thing. And it was always, particularly after Pop Grant passed away, it was always a real point of pride for me, and I think for other people in our family, how many people would approach us and talk about him and his work ethic and the work that he did. He was a auto mechanic, and there were just a lot of people in the area that really thought of him as kind of the best what he did. And
yeah, that's definitely true.
yeah.
You hear that constantly, especially right after his passing.
Right. And, I really think of you in that same space, Matt. Like, I think that the amount of talent and sort of artistry that you put into the work that you do is really impressive.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Now, do you want to fly here and help me with this bathroom?
You got this.
He keeps telling me that, Mark. The
But the tiles were falling off
the
your
tiles
wall.
literally falling off the wall.
I told you how to fix them.
Maybe if you get him an Uber.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, but I mean,
It better have a snack bar in that Uber. I can tell you that.
I make a joke, but I really mean it. I mean, it is, the work that you do is impressive. I think it's really second to none, and I think that's a special thing to be, kind of at the top of something. I mean, you chose a profession, and I really think that you executed in a way that you should really be proud of, and I mean that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
There's days I definitely don't feel that that's true.
Well.
Although, what's my favorite saying, Mark?
Safety third.
Oh no, that's the Ruhls flooring motto. Safety third.
Lunch at 11.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. Lunch at 11. But what do I tell you every day? What do I tell you most days when I'm driving home?
Oh, you burned the afternoon oil?
Yeah, these 5-hour days are killing me.
I don't know. There's too many of them. I put another grueling day in at Ruhls Flooring. It's 11 o'clock.
Right.
The self-employed has its advantages. I will tell you that it was nerve-wracking. I should have done it sooner, and it took me a long time to pull the trigger on working for myself.
Yeah.
And really quickly, I realized that I should have. I shouldn't have waited as long as I did, and that I was gonna make it on my own. I pretty quickly figured that out. What people don't see about being self-employed is, yes, there are days that I only install for 4 or 5 hours, but all the paperwork.
Yeah.
It's nonstop. Answering my phone rings constantly, and measuring jobs, doing billing, and so. When I say I only had a 5-hour day, that's really not true most of the time. There's a lot that goes on that I don't really count as work. That probably is really technically working.
Yeah. Well, I think too that, one, who cares if you can work 5 hours a day and make a decent living at it? I mean, what you do is also physically hard. It's not
Some days.
Yeah, well, I don't know. When the day that I worked on putting tile up that didn't ultimately stick to the wall, I still.
Hey, how many pieces didn't fall off?
Oh, most of them.
See?
Only some of them fell off.
You're not looking at the percentages here.
Yeah, I guess not.
Although I will say that the pieces that fall off for me are usually, if I had one fall off, I'd be concerned.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I'm concerned. No, it's hard work. It really is. What else outdoor wise driving you? What else did you want to talk about today?
I mean, mostly I just want to know how great it was for you two having me as your mentor growing up.
Yeah. I was thinking about that before the episode, and it reminds me of a sign. There was a guy that I worked with early in my career who ended up getting himself in some trouble, and it's a long story that I won't get into, but he was not happy at work anymore, and he put a sign up on the door of his office, like on the outside of the door of his office, that said, "If you can't be a good example, be a horrible warning." So I mean, I think I learned so much from you, man, as a horrible warning. No, I loved having you as an older brother most of the time when we weren't fighting.
When you weren't throwing shoes or donuts or getting in hockey fights.
Hey, you could have caught that shoe.
Yeah, that I am still pissed off about, but that's not, I mean, the story behind the shoe is that Matt and I shared a bedroom for a long time. I don't know, 13 years or something, right?
At least, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And we got in a fight one time, and Matt picked up a shoe and threw it at me, and I dodged it, and the shoe went straight through the bedroom window. And, you know, it was kind of an unavoidable thing. The window was going to need to be fixed, so we had to tell our parents about it. And Matt, we got in equal amounts of trouble, Matt for throwing the shoe at me and me for not letting it hit me so it didn't break the window. Which is, I don't know, pretty good example of what it's like having an older brother. No.
I don't know. I would have caught the shoe.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't have. But I might not have thrown it either, because at that time I also recall that you were blocking the exit to the room, so I wouldn't have had to go by you, and you were still old enough at that point.
Yeah, that was it.
Pummeling me.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
I would not have thrown a shoe at you without a solid escape plan.
I see.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, it's really been quite the adventure having both of you as brothers, and I mean, I can't tell you how much I love you guys and how lucky I feel, Matt, to have you as an older brother and Mark, you as a younger brother. It's a real point of joy for me in my life to have the relationships that I have with both of you, and the fact that I really do feel like in a lot of ways we just keep getting closer, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I do too, and I feel the same way.
And I feel like the podcast has been a positive force in that for us too. I mean, brings us together in yet another way. So, been fun.
It really has been fun.
Yeah.
Started as just, and I hope it shines through, but and we've said it a bunch of times before, but the hunts I've had, the time I've had outdoors with you guys has been more important to me than any trophy I've ever harvested or caught or whatever. I mean, I enjoy out fishing Matt and catching bigger fish than him, but
when it happens.
Name one time. One.
But I have a bigger sheep's head than you.
Yeah, that might be true.
I do. I have a 6-pounder.
I had to run the boat.
I don't think that's true. Because Hunter caught the 10-pounder and the pictures of Mike was running the boat. Anyway, there's our argument.
Yeah, right.
I still catch fish while I'm running the boat, and you don't.
That's true. That is true. But no, it's the time with you guys. It's more important than anything we harvest, I think. And all my finest outdoor memories you guys have been there for.
So I just had Hunter had a friend. I can't think of the guy's name now. Over at the house last weekend, and he's not a hunter. And of course, he was looking at all the mounts on the walls, and he said to me, "I don't understand why he would mount all these deer." And I'm like, "Well, the mounts aren't there, or it's more the memories of the hunt itself than the deer. Every time I look at one of those mounts, I think of the story behind them, and almost every one of them, you guys are involved in one way or another."
Yeah, I mean, we could sit here for the next 3 hours and tell stories about deer.
I mean, yeah, I agree. And even, I mean, if I shoot a deer, I call you two before I get down out of the tree stand.
Yeah.
Every time.
I look forward to archery season starting in Pennsylvania, not because I usually have any plan to come home and archery hunt, but because I will talk to both of you every single time you hunt. I will talk to you when you're on your way home, if, unless something happens, and then I'll hear from you. I will know you shot before you know, usually, if you got the deer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And in fact, I try to, return the favor when I had service with Caitlin. I don't know if I texted you, Mark, but I definitely texted Matt that Caitlin just shot.
I think you texted me Caitlin shot. I think that's all it said.
Yeah. So, I look forward to the archery season that's coming up, and I hope you guys both have a ton of success. And I hope Kaylee gets the biggest deer of the year, or CJ, one of them.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So before we go, Matt, you were telling me the other day that one of our regular podcast listeners told you that it throws them off that there's no commercials in the podcast, right?
Yes.
And since we did an episode with Stormy Kromer, I thought I'd give this a try.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to test this out on you guys. Are you ready?
Sure. Yes.
From the deer stand to the high desert, the Outdoor Rules podcast relies on great gear to keep our stories going. Built for comfort, warmth, and grip when the wind blows, the Stormy Kromer is the kind of hat that's been tested in deer camps, fishing trips, and family adventures for over a century. Check out Stormy Kromer, the official, unofficial apparel company of the Outdoor Rules podcast. How about that?
That's
Perfect.
better.
All right.
Now sing the jingle.
I haven't.
Mark's a stupid, ugly, stupid head. Is that the jingle?
Yes.
That is our other brother Davy's favorite song.
Mark is a stupid, ugly, stupid head song. You'll have
Not
to.
that.
For anybody that's wondering about that, did we do that? Did we talk about that in the episode about you, Mark, or the one with Davey?
Davy's favorite song?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Well,
we talked about it once before.
All right, guys.
There's other emotional abuses I took that we can't talk about on this podcast, like Matt's nickname for me.
Oh yeah, no. There's so much that we can't talk about on the podcast. People would think we're all psychopaths.
They wouldn't be wrong.
That's true. All right, guys. You got anything else for today?
No, if you talk to that guy, tell him that after like several years, their vests shrink and they don't fit anymore.
I don't think that's a vest problem.
I'll let him know.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, as always, thanks for doing this, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. And all of our listeners, you can always find all of our content on our website, www.outdoorrules.com. We're on Instagram at Outdoor Rules. We've also got the Facebook page there. And, leaving us a comment, a like or a comment on either of the podcast platforms, Spotify or Apple Podcasts, would be super appreciated. And we would also love to hear from people. You can email us at outdoorrules@gmail.com. All right. Love you guys.
Me too.
Have a good one.
Hunting and fishing, the great outdoors, mixing history, laughter, love, and folklore, creating memories with family and friends. These are the trophies that matter in the end. Outdoor Rules.